The term club fitting gets thrown around a lot in golf, but it's used to describe a really wide range of things. So in this video, I'm going to explain the 5 levels of club fitting, the pros and cons of each one, and help you think about where you want to end up to get the most out of your game. The most basic level of custom club fitting is getting 4 things right: the length, the lie angle, the shaft flex, and the grip size. Now, the pros for this is cheap. It's probably free in almost all circumstances. Maybe you're going to pay a little bit to change the grips if that's necessary, but if you're buying new clubs, all of this really should be free. It's also quick and easy. Getting these things measured takes almost no time, so there's really no excuse to not do this. It's not going to take up an hour or 2 hours of your day. You're also going to get a lot of benefit out of this. You're not going to have to adjust your body to the golf clubs anymore. You're making the clubs fit to you. That's probably the biggest single reason to get this done. The cons, there really aren't any substantial ones anyway. I guess you could say that if you need a set of clubs that is longer or shorter, or you need some modification made, you don't get to walk out of the store with your box of clubs that day. But that's really a pretty childish con, in my opinion, compared to the benefits that you get. Now, this level of custom club fitting is what I say every single golfer should be taking advantage of. There is literally not one golfer who I think should not be playing the right length, lie angle, shaft flex, grip size. To me, there's just no argument against this. I don't care if you are a beginner. I don't care if you're a tour pro. There's no reason to play clubs that are too long, too short. Again, wrong lie angle, wrong grip size. There's just way too much benefit to be gained from playing the right stuff. The analogy I like to use when talking about this level of custom fitting, or really any kind of custom fitting, is comparing custom clubs to gym shoes. It doesn't matter what level of athlete you are, whether you're a weekend warrior basketball player or you're LeBron James. You wear shoes that fit. You go to the store and you buy shoes that fit your feet. By the same token, whether you're a hacker or a tour pro, there's no reason to play clubs that are, again, too long, too short. Now, do the specs have to be absolutely perfect to the 1/8 of an inch? Of course not. But you want to be generally in the right ballpark. If you're really tall with short arms, you're going to need clubs that are substantially longer than average. Similarly, if you have a super flat swing, you need those clubs a little bit flatter than normal. Maybe not perfect. We don't have to expect perfect consistency in our fitting or our swing, but we want to be in the right ballpark. Or if you've got big hands, you shouldn't be in a standard or undersized grip. You're just going to have to make too many compensations to the club. So I don't really like the argument that, well, I'm not a good enough golfer to get custom fit. You're a good enough walker, you're a good enough athlete to wear shoes that fit. You should also be in clubs that fit your body and the very basics of your swing, again, in terms of basic shaft length, lie angle, shaft flex, and grip size. Getting those 4 things right is usually free or very, very low cost, and it's quite easy. Now, the second level of custom club fitting is what I call trying lots of stuff. This includes level 1. So level 2 is level 1 plus level 2. So you're going to get the right length, the right lie angle, but you're also going to go either to the range or get on a launch monitor and just try a lot of stuff. And you're doing this without any expert help. You're doing this without any systematic approach. You're probably just hitting everything stock. But this is still a good step for a lot of people. This is, in my opinion, a level of custom fitting because you're trying lots of stuff and you're trusting yourself to make a good decision. The pros for this, it's free. If you're going to a store that doesn't let you hit stuff for free, you're going to the wrong store. The cons, it's going to be time consuming because you don't have any expert help. You're just going to be hitting lots of stuff and trying to figure out what works best. Another con would be that you don't have any expert help, so maybe you make a decision that isn't quite optimal. But again, you are trusting yourself to make a good decision. Now, going in and fitting by yourself, just trying lots of things, you are potentially leaving a lot of performance on the table. Fitters know a lot. There's a lot of components they may have access to that you're not going to by just walking around and grabbing different things. But this is still way, way better than walking into a store and saying, I just know I want that TaylorMade set off the wall or that Titleist set off the wall, and nothing's going to change my mind. Just fit me for that. Trying stuff yourself is really an important part of the process. And honestly, it's underrated for some golfers. I think some golfers go into fittings and rely too much on the fitter saying, well, just tell me what I should be playing, rather than thinking about what they like and offering the fitter feedback on what they like the look of, the feel of, the sound of, what kind of performance they're looking for. Fitting should be a collaboration between the player and the fitter, but this level 2 is still better than level 1 or doing nothing at all. The third tier of custom fitting is what I call a big box fitting. This could be a big box or it could be your local pro shop. And let me be clear, I am in no way disparaging these kinds of fittings when I call them big box fittings. I was a big box fitter for several years, so I have no knock on this approach at all. The pros for this, again, we're still in the realm of things that are going to be cheap, potentially free. Usually at a big box, you may pay some nominal fee for the custom fitting and then they'll apply it to your club. So this is a very cheap way of getting custom fit. You are probably going to get a little more out of this version of fitting than you are out of just trying stuff yourself, because I would think any fitter is probably going to offer you some help. But the big con is that this is the most variable kind of fitting. We're talking variability in terms of both the fitter and what's available for you to try. Now, when I say there's a lot of variability in a big box fitting, here's what I'm talking about. You might go to a big box store and you might, I say with no humility, you might get me. And that's great. You're getting somebody who loves golf equipment, who wants to see you in the best possible clubs, who really cares about what they're doing and is knowledgeable and is willing to use all the resources of the store, as much time as they need to get you into the right clubs. That might happen at a big box. However, you might get the guy who's there just punching the clock, who doesn't really know anything about golf clubs, who doesn't care to learn or care to use all the different fitting carts and all that. And that stinks, but that is a very real possibility when you go to a big box. You're just rolling the dice on who you work with. Yeah, all their fitters might say that they are certified by 10 different OEMs. Dirty little secret, all that means is they click through a little PowerPoint online. It doesn't mean that they're good fitters at all. The other part of the variability is that you might get a wide range of components to try. Again, speaking from experience at a big box, we would start the season with a great selection of heads and shafts. You'd have the Mizuno fitting cart and it would be all dialed in with your 2 up, 2 flat and standard heads and all the different shafts and all the different weights and flexes. And then after 2-3 weeks, a month, some of those pieces got stolen. Some of them got broken. Some of them just got put in the TaylorMade bin. And then your fitting is just not as good because the fitter doesn't have the right tools to work with, right? I could be the best carpenter in the world, but if you stole my hammer, there's a limit to what I can do. So those are the variables you're going to be working with when you go to a big box. You might end up with a great fit. You might not. I'll also say that even in the very best circumstance, you're probably leaving something on the table. I don't know how much, but you're probably leaving something on the table compared to levels 4 and 5. The fourth level of custom fitting is getting fit with a single OEM fitting. Now this could be something like going to a PXG fitting studio and getting fit there, or going to a Titleist fitting event where they come to a range or a golf club and take appointments to do fittings. Either of these are great options. The pros for this is that you're going to get a really good fitting. You're going to get a lot of components. You're going to get a really high-end fitter generally. The cons are that this might be a little more costly, though often you can still apply the fitting fee to your clubs. And the biggest thing is you're going to be tied into a single OEM. So let's say you go to a Callaway fitting, you hit all the Callaway drivers and you don't find anything you love, you can't just switch up and go to TaylorMade Ping PXG. Now, I'm a big fan of single OEM fittings for 2 reasons. First, their fitters are generally lights out. These brands know that they have the chance to put their best foot forward in these fittings and really show off, and they want to do that by giving you a great fitting experience. So they're going to give you a highly trained fitter who really knows that product. Those fitters work with one set of products all day long. So imagine a fitter in a big box or even a club champion They have to know 100 different heads. The fitter who just works for Titleist, they know 4, right? 4 driver heads. So their knowledge is very deep. They've seen lots and lots of players test those 4 different heads, and their knowledge is a little narrower, but it's very deep, as opposed to another fitter where it might be wider, but a little more shallow. In addition, those OEMs are going to have a really nice array of components, again, because they want to give you a great experience. So they're going to have components that work well with their club heads. So you're going to get a great fitting here. The only thing I would say is I would really encourage you to try level 2 before you make a decision on which fitter to work with or which company to work with. Go and try lots of stuff, figure out that, oh, I really like the Ping drivers, and then go visit a Ping fitter to get dialed in precisely with that head. The 5th and highest tier of custom fitting is going to a dedicated high-end custom club fitter like a Club Champion, Cool Clubs, True Spec, any of those types of places. The reason this is the highest level, the big pros, they're going to be brand agnostic. They're not trying to give you one brand over another. They have the most choices in terms of brand, probably even brands you're not going to see anywhere else, like at a big box. They're going to give you the most options. They're going to give you the best fitters, because those people just fit all day. Again, when I was a big box fitter, I spent a lot of my day putting shirts on hangers, and I spent some of my day fitting. Fitters at these kinds of places, they just fit all day. That's all they do. But the big negative here is the cost. This is going to be the most expensive way to do a custom fitting. Now with this option, there are 2 things that make it a bit more expensive. First, the fitting itself usually costs more. Sometimes that cost is applied to the clubs, sometimes it's not, but it's a bigger upfront cost either way. The other thing is you're typically going to pay more for the clubs because you're paying for a more precise build. And I'm speaking largely to Club Champion here because that is the company that I have the most experience working with for like over a decade now. Something a lot of golfers don't realize is when you buy just the box of clubs from any OEM, those clubs are built within a certain tolerance for swing weight, length, lie, etc. When you go to a top-end builder like Club Champion, those tolerances are very, very small. They're taking the clubs apart and putting them back together to be just perfect for the fit that you got. They're not building anything or taking anything at stock specs. But if the cost is okay for you, if that's something you can get past, then this is really the best level of custom fitting that you can get. You can mix and match all the different OEM heads and the different shafts. Again, you're going to be able to try things you won't find anywhere else. I know if I see a player in an Oban or an Acra shaft or JP wedges, I know they went to a great fitter because that's the only place you're going to find these things. And again, these are some of the best fitters you're going to find. At Club Champion, these fitters are trained for hours and hours and hours before they're allowed to go into the bay, so that they know the product. You're going to get a very solid fitting, you're going to learn a ton, and you're going to walk out knowing there's really no better club for me because I've tried everything that's out there. So if you want to put all of your fitting concerns to rest and just play the clubs that you're fit for, go to level 5. This is the best form of custom fitting for you. I hope this has clarified some things about custom fitting for you, and if you learned something in this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions left over, post them down below. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Thank you so much for watching.